this gentleman has asked for a general checkup, and I did say to him that if we find anything, we'll remove it. Do we have his permission for that? And he's gone ahead with the request. So I'm assuming we've got his permission for that. Can we connect with the higher self?
Yeah, okay, I've already connected.
And we have permission to proceed?
Yeah, so the higher self is happy.
Okay, sovereignty check. What do we find?
Okay, so that fails immediately. So we've got 2 of our small gargoyle type creatures connected to the external etheric field.
Right.
So we're just going to cut them off, remove them, pass them to Chen. It's been done. Okay, so there's grounding's been severely compromised. There is like a thin strand, but not a big thick root, which is what I'd expect to see normally. So just going to fix that problem and put grounding back in place.
So there's nothing particularly nasty or dangerous, unlike the earlier client?
Unlike the last one, no. So these are just, well, yeah, more menial external negative entities. Yeah.
More of a nuisance.
There's something connected to the back of his neck as well. So I'm seeing it as like a box, basically, some sort of controlling type box. Which, so this to me, okay, so Jen's saying it's like a sleep thing. So when he's asleep, whatever's been connected to the back of his head would be trying to control his thought pattern.
Okay, now, these control mechanisms, we find a lot of these, and again, people ask for their origin and an explanation rather than just us simply removing them without any fuss. So I'd like to explain a bit more about this now. In my experience, in my past experience, these tend to be placed by alien experimenters, scientists who want to study human behaviour in much the same way that we study creatures ourselves on this planet. Would I be wrong here, or is this something else?
No, Chen's agreeing with you, actually. He's saying very well delivered, if you like.
Okay, now what I'd like to do is follow William Baldwin's method of dealing with this. Someone has planted this here for experimental purposes. They want information, they need to understand something. Perhaps we can communicate with them and talk to them. Okay,
yeah, so I've got so I'm hearing a voice. It's like a bird-like entity. I can see like a beak and big eyes. So it's looking like an eagle is presenting itself to me, and it's saying it's us you wish to communicate with, basically.
Okay, good. What we'd like to do is cooperate rather than have any conflict with you. We understand principally what you're doing, what you're after. And what we'd like to do is to find a better way for you to gather the information you're looking for rather than implanting control mechanisms in human beings. How does that sound to you?
Okay, so it's not particularly complicit, but it's listening, so it's not actually offering anything.
Okay, well, let me suggest this. What if we were able to give you everything you're looking for in a complete package, in a ball of knowledge that contains everything you need to know about human beings without you having to experiment on them? If we could give that to you and you take it home, wouldn't you be hailed as a hero?
Yeah, okay, so it's saying that would be good, but you can't offer something that doesn't exist.
What is it you think doesn't exist?
So it's saying that all human beings are different, and different types of human race acts differently in different situations. So what they're interested in is they're interested in comparing cross-racial situations, and it's saying like achievements, basically. So it's saying for this particular person, they're very interested in the whole sleep. What happens when a human sleeps, because obviously a part of the brain isn't asleep, and a different part of the consciousness is effectively leaving the human, he's saying, condition. So it's saying that box is there to basically capture he's saying the other life that's being lived in the subconscious when the person's conscious state is asleep.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for that. Well, and as a scientist, I can concur with your curiosity. It's a fascinating subject. And yes, of course, different human beings respond in different ways. But what I'd like to draw your attention to, if I may, is that you're actually interfering with the free will of a sentient being.
Okay, so it's saying that an agreement was made with this particular person before they actually entered into physical life to be part of the study. So it's saying from their perspective, a lot of humans actually are electing to be part of this experiment before they actually are born into their physical body.
Okay. So perhaps we should go back to this gentleman and ask him if he would like to continue allowing himself to be experimented with in a research project, or as with the ethical procedures in all experiments on Earth, if a participant wants to stop being involved, he has every right to withdraw. Would you agree to that?
Okay, yeah, so it's saying that it would completely respect that particular analogy. So it's saying that we've entered into effectively a contract that we're happy to be broken, but not by you and I, by the actual person.
Okay,
so,
but that's fair enough, that's understood. So I can convey this information to the participant and ask him what his decision is. How does that sound?
Okay, so this entity is agreeing with that and just saying that it will also help him to understand why he's had such problems with sleep for a long time.
So, let me get this right. The control mechanism that's been implanted, is that actually interfering with his sleep patterns, or is it just there to monitor them?
Okay, so he's saying... Okay, so it's been a bit elusive about the answer. It's saying initially it was planted to monitor, so, but we also have the ability to... Well, he's calling it trigger events, but events that have happened in his life. So he's saying we're not creating a false scenario, but we can trigger memories and events that have happened to see what sort of secondary reaction we would expect to see from that person.
Okay, good. Well, that's very, very useful to know. And what I intend to do, with this gentleman's permission, is to use the recording of our conversation to educate our own scientists.
Okay, so he's laughing, just saying that your scientists aren't really scientists, are they? He's saying they're more like babies playing in a playground of adults from an intergalactic perspective.
And again, it's a useful educational conversation that we're having, my friend.
Yeah, he's very straight to the point. He's just laughing to say, you know, he's not trying to be argumentative. He's just saying, can you imagine talking to a professor with, you know, a whole host of degrees and comparing it to a 4-year-old child that's trying to have a conversation about anything at all? You know, the professor would almost smile and laugh at the child's understanding of something it doesn't understand.
Okay.
He's saying that humans are, you know, haven't been around for very long in the cosmic mix.
Well, we understand perfectly what you're saying. I've just got one more question for you. Can you tell us your origin? The planet, the galaxy, the star system that you come from?
Saying the Big O.
The Big O.
The Big O. The big... Okay.
What's the Big O?
So it's just laughing to say, you see what I mean? As if,
well, exactly.
You know,
we have no know. We're like you, trying to gain knowledge. So
he's saying Orion.
Oh, okay. Well, I've heard of Orion. Why didn't you say Orion?
He's saying in their language it's called the Big O.
Okay, fine.
So.
Fine. Well, thank you very much for that. And I should go back to this gentleman and ask him what he would like to do to continue with this experiment or not, and perhaps we'll have another conversation. But for the time being, thank you for communicating with me. Professor, I'm just a 4-year-old, but I thank you.
He's just laughing, saying at least you both know your place.
Well.
He's actually quite... they're quite humorous when they realise that you can be humorous back, if you see what I mean. He's saying the big problem they have with humans is we're aggressive species,
Yes,
basically. And he's saying, you know, other entities may be perceived by humans as being aggressive, but he's saying if their level of aggression was similar to ours, we as a species wouldn't even exist.
Right.
We'd be wiped away, basically. So it's saying they're all very tolerant of our aggression.
Okay. When you first made contact with this alien experimenter, you described it visually. Can you describe that for me a bit? How it looks to you, the visual representation?
Yeah, just like an eagle's head, really. Just like a big long beak with like two sort of piercing eyes and a kind of like an eagle's hair that's been upturned and it's kind of spiked up.
So, in order to conduct experiments, I'm assuming that they have expert dexterity. So, what digits do they use for manipulation?
Okay, so it's saying it doesn't need physicality. So they're like telepathic, mental.
Okay, enough said. Right. Well, again, thank you for that.
So he's just reminding you basically that, you know, you're existing on a physical plane, on a physical planet, and he's saying obviously some of your species have the ability to connect via time and space, which you can consider to be magic, he's saying, but he's saying most other species have developed to the point that telepathy is their method of operation and they don't need to use physicality.
Okay. Well, I'm sure there are more questions that I mean, we could sit and discuss these things for a long time, so I'm going to end the conversation there. We have to move on, and I thank you.
Okay, he's also saying thank you for your time and understanding.